Today we're taking a look at Ranked, and not specifically about this game, but I wanted to talk about expectations and how you should be approaching Ranked. Ranked, of course, can be very frustrating, just like the base game and random battles can be very frustrating. You add an element of a ladder to grind, and suddenly it gets even more frustrating. And something that maybe you haven't considered before is that I don't think Ranked is a test of skill, I think it's a test of patience. Of course, you do need to be generally a positive help to your team, right? So if you're getting, on average, a 50-55% win rate, stuff like that, in random battles, you're generally going to be helping your team most of the time, right? You're not going to be doing the hard carries, but you're not going to be actively throwing the game for your team. So once you've gotten to that point, which I would say a lot of players are, it's really not about your skill anymore. Sure, someone who's 65% win rate plus is going to win more games than you because they'll just carry those few extra. But I truly believe that getting to rank 1 and moving up through ranks is just a test of patience. Just click the battle button over and over and over again. And those who are able to maintain calm and not rage and freak out and rage quit and start playing worse because they're upset, those players are going to be doing better in ranked. And that's one of the issues I think I see a lot of the time. I don't think it happens in this game at all, but I see some people getting really heated in in-game chat, and it's too bad. I think those people probably just haven't considered that ranked really is just a test of patience. You're going to win games, you're going to lose games. I've talked about this before, but in random battles, you're going to win 30% of your games, guaranteed. I think you're going to lose 30% of your games, guaranteed. Doesn't matter what you do. So, raging and freaking out at your teammates probably isn't worth it, I don't think. Especially because you're going to start playing worse when you start freaking out and getting upset. I know I personally do. Of course, I'm human, right? I get frustrated at things when they're not going right. After this game, I wasn't particularly happy. So I'll admit it. I stopped playing. I stopped playing this game after this, or at least ranked. I believe I stopped playing because you just aren't going to play as well when you're upset and frustrated, and that's not going to help your team win, and that's going to just make you even more frustrated, and it's just this cycle that's going to make ranked just a miserable experience. Personally, I really enjoy ranked most of the time. You'll notice I'm in tier 7 ranked, and that's on purpose because I want to have a place where I can play my tier 7 ships without having to deal with tier 9s. Ships like the Gneisenau is a really, really, really fun ship when you can get into brawling range. Of course, the secondary range of 9.5 kilometers now. They don't really hit that much, but that's a different topic. But it's a fun ship still, but it really, really, really struggles in tier 9 games. So having a nice place to play my tier 7s is a really good time. And as an added bonus, there's a few rewards you can get out of ranked. You can get some steel, you can get some doubloons, a few crates, flags, all that good stuff. Some coal too, I think. But yeah, I really do think that ranked is just a test of patience. If you make it to rank 1, congratulations. You're above average at the game, more than likely. And you have good patience. That's what I view ranked as. And I think it makes the game a little bit more fun. Focus more on what you're doing rather than what your team is doing. Right? If I wanted to critique this game would be such an easy game to rage out at my teammates, where they just lemming followed me into the C cap, and then they just sat there and did nothing, and then they all died and we lost the game. Right? And I come back up north here to try and hold a flank of sorts. The enemy team, of course, would have a really tough time pushing into B. So if you're curious, the way this map works is if you control C, you generally have better control over B because you have these islands right close to the cap to use, and the enemy team has to push from A to B in completely open water. There's no cover. So there's a huge advantage for whoever takes C, and that's why I went there to start with. But, right, I could get super mad about this, or, I could try and come hold the flank, create crossfires, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, this game just isn't going to go our way. And some of these games, you're just going to lose. And you just kind of got to accept that. Personally, I also don't play this game as much anymore. I've found that I can only really manage maybe an hour or two of playing this game every... I don't even play this game every day anymore, honestly. Like, maybe every other day, that kind of thing. That helps me to, enjoy it a little more when I am playing. But, yeah, I think that raging out at your teammates is just not going to be all that productive. If you saw my last video on the Montana, I did kind of a one-take thing where I jumped into a match and just showed you a normal game that I would have. And then we had some interesting people in-game chat, right? And that's just not going to help your teammates win. Even if you think that your advice is sound, it really just puts extra stress on people, and it doesn't really help all that much, because then people are second-guessing themselves and then oftentimes end up playing worse. So what I look for in a lot of these matches where maybe I don't have the best teammates, like this game, I am trying to play around them and use whatever they're doing to my advantage. So my team pushed through C and now are pushing into the enemy team's spawn. My goal here is to just hold off the push just straight into the C cap so we don't get triple capped. Maybe trying to set up some crossfires, that kind of thing. It's pretty difficult. Something I probably should have done in this position is just ignored the Baron and turned my guns to the other side, because the Baron's essentially out of the fight at this point. I should have turned my guns to the other side, because it's very likely the guys in B right now are just going to charge nose in to my teammates pushing the enemy spawn. And I'd have excellent crossfires on them if I just turned my guns to look south instead of focusing on a Baron in our spawn. That's not really helping their team all that much. That would have been better, because then we would have set up a crossfire and maybe would have been able to win this game, right? That's something that I oftentimes look for. Playing with your teammates is just always going to work better than trying to do things solo, even if you think what you're doing is the correct thing for the situation. A team that plays together, even though they're doing maybe a less than optimal strategy, is always going to beat a team of individuals trying to do the most optimal thing but not playing together as a team. I think the best example of that is games like Valorant or Counter-Strike, where there's an economy and you need to buy up weapons as a team, and there's buy rounds and save rounds and half buys and force buys, that kind of thing. If you're working with your teammates and you're buying similar to what your teammates are doing, you're probably going to win more games than if, one guy has a rifle and everybody else is on a save or something like that. At least in, normal games. Of course, there's the hero AK runs you see in professional games that can actually work. But regardless, playing around your teammates for the average person and even really good players is going to do a lot better. For me, I would have done a lot better, like I said, if I had turned my guns south. This Synop pushed out flat broadside to me. And what am I doing? I'm focusing on a Baron in our spawn that's kiting away. Like, this is horrible. This is not a good play that I'm making here. I should not be shooting this guy, but I still am. And I'll admit, I probably was a little bit tilted at this point, and I wasn't thinking straight. And consequently, my teammates in the south who pushed, well, they just all got wrapped up by that Synop, who, by the way, had a really, really good game. And if I had positioned myself better to stop his attack and his push, maybe I could have killed him or helped my team kill him before my teammates all died, It's little things like that that can help you win more games, right? I'm obviously not perfect at this game and make a ton of mistakes as well. So just some things to think about. I'm not saying that I know exactly how to do things all the time or that playing around your teammates is going to work every time. But I do know that by staying calm and trying to play as a team, you're probably going to win more games than if you just go off and do things solo. Much like I did here at the end of this match. I could have played around my teammates a little bit better than I did. I had the right idea by going north and trying to stop them from pushing. I just didn't capitalize on the crossfire that my team and I could have had set up. And in the end, I get overwhelmed because I'll be left in a 1 versus 4, right? Not counting the carriers, of course, but, it's an impossible situation to win at this time. Even though I get a ton of exit damage, it's really not that valuable damage, By the time my teammates all died, I only had, maybe 100k damage, if that. I wasn't actually paying attention when I was talking, but This game you can think of as, wow, look at all the damage you got. You're getting up to 140,000 damage in a tier 7 game. I think these torps even hit. Yeah, like flesh wound, 161k damage. Huge game, right? In a 7 versus 7 tier 7 game. That's a huge game. But most of that damage was exit damage, so it wasn't actually that valuable. The game was decided by the time I got all that damage, right? Anyways, that's just kind of some thoughts I had about ranked. I wanted to share them. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, maybe learned something, gave you something to think about. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.